Let's see. There we go. Up and running. Colts Nation, Colts Nation. What a game. What a game. As you can tell by the voice, I went a little crazy, right? We streamed during the game. There was good that I was screaming for. There was bad that I was screaming for. Man, just disappointing, right? Disappointing the way that one goes. Before we get into it, before we really talk about what I saw, let's go over some of the numbers from this game, okay? As we look at it, C.J. Stroud, 24 for 32, 234, 2 touchdowns. We were able to get 4 sacks in this game, but when we weren't getting sacks, we weren't really affecting the game enough. There was a couple of different situations where the pass rush did affect CJ. He was able to complete some of those passes. Some of them weren't great passes. But nonetheless, CJ ends up 75%, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Colts defense did not force a turnover. The one turnover we did have, there was a defensive holding call on Jalen Jones. And on that same play, Kenny Moore got away with the defensive hold anyways. So either way, not getting any turnovers in this game. Which is obviously a problem. Obviously, anybody that watched the game, if you didn't happen to watch the game and not so obvious to you, Colts give up 159 rush yards just to Joe Mixon. It's not the Texans as a team. That is Joe Mixon, 213 yards altogether on the ground for the Texans. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Bruce, run defense, exactly. You're exactly right. That run defense was awful, like unacceptable. And like we haven't really seen stuff. We had some bad games last year when Grover Stewart wasn't around. But now, I mean, there were some funky rotations that got thrown in today that I didn't like. And with those rotations, we gave up a bunch of rush yards. Now, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, they had time in there together, and they weren't perfect throughout the game. There was plenty of times where Joe Mixon was able to make stuff happen because Joe Mixon was just that good. We got beat up in the trenches, but Joe Mixon had a lot of cutbacks in this game that really gashed us. Nick Cross ends up with a bunch of tackles because of it. So altogether, like you look at what they were able to do, look at what we were able to do. Anthony Richardson, 9 for 19, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, only gets sacked 2 times. He did a good job of evading pressure at different times. Good job of running when there was a lane to run from a pass play. But again, 9 of 19, just not good enough, especially down the stretch when you need to make things happen. From a passing perspective, just not enough that we got from AR today, right? Like, if AR hits the passes he should hit, we easily win this game. So disappointing there, but the thing with that, right, we knew coming in, this is basically Anthony Richardson's rookie season, and we knew coming in that Anthony Richardson had certain things that he has to work on. And accuracy, some of those accuracy issues is definitely a part of that. And of course, decision making is part of that. He had some decisions that were not good. He could have ended up with 3 or 4 interceptions in this game. But overall ends up with the 1 interception, but ends up with 3 total touchdowns, right? The 2 passing touchdowns, and then he has 6 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Now, the run at the end was a great effort play. That's what you want to see. AR able to come out of this game clean. He's able to take some hits, comes out of it clean. And on that touchdown run, looked like he was going to be stopped in the backfield and tripped. He gets away from that real quick, ends up getting hit as he's going into the end zone, and ends up pushing his way into the end zone by himself, gets himself in there, and again, takes the hit and gets back up. Exactly what you love to see. Now, unfortunately, it was just a little too late, for what we were able to do. In this game, we were never able to get Jonathan Taylor really going. 16 carries, 48 yards, had the touchdown, but 3 yards per carry for your running back just isn't good enough, right? Joe Mixon had 5.3 yards per carry in this game. So, and they averaged 5.3 as a team, the Texans did. So just not good enough. For the Colts on the offensive side of the ball, there were the truth of the offense from this game is the fact that the offense would have been nothing without the big plays. And honestly, the offense would have been nothing without Alec Pierce. Never once in Alec Pierce's career have we ever said that. We would have been nothing without Alec Pierce in this game. Comes out of it, 3 catches, 125, and a touchdown. Now, one of them was obviously the 60-play touchdown, which was an absolutely perfect throw. I mean, Anthony Richardson almost slips, able to regain himself, gets himself planted, throws, and I mean, when he launches that ball and the camera's, on its way, you have no idea what's coming. You don't know if it's going to be underthrown. You don't know if it's going to have to be a contested catch. It was on the run. He hit Alec Pierce in stride, 60 yards in the air. I mean, an absolutely incredible throw. There aren't many people on the planet that can do what he did. C.J. Stroud had 2 of those deep throws that were underthrown. If he throws them a little higher or a little further, they end up a touchdown. C.J. Stroud underthrew a couple balls where Anthony Richardson does have a problem overthrowing. But nonetheless, Anthony, that was a ridiculous throw. Alec Pierce, again, 3 catches, 125 and a touchdown. We don't put points on the board without him. So absolutely incredible. We had heard through training camp that it looked like Alec Pierce, when Josh Downs went out, and this is what Chris Ballard said, when Josh Downs went out, you could say Alec Pierce probably had the best camp out of anybody. Josh Downs had the best camp of anybody before he gets hurt, and then it ends up being Alec Pierce that does an incredible job throughout the rest of camp. Hurdy had a great camp, and we were able to see it in this game. Alec Pierce doing exactly what we brought him here to do, which is make the big plays. The first big play that Alec Pierce made wasn't in traffic, right? Again, in stride. But the second big catch, the drive that Anthony Richardson scores on 4th and goal, Alec Pierce, that catch he makes, goes up, gets the ball, has a guy wrapped up in him. Again, that's a play not everybody makes, right? A lot of wide receivers can make that play. Alec Pierce hasn't made that play in the past, was able to do it there, went up, got it in a must-have-it situation. Alec Pierce making incredible plays. Michael Pittman Jr. got targeted early, and then they just went away from. I don't know if the Texans defense slaying it to him. It seems like it may have, with Alec Pierce getting open the way he did. I would assume that means they were focused on stopping Michael Pittman Jr. They were obviously focused on stopping Jonathan Taylor. And then obviously we unfortunately can't stop Nico Collins. Now, there is the play, Nico Collins at the end of the game for the first down, the catch on the sideline. Got to give props where props is due. That was an absolutely incredible throw. Absolutely incredible catch by Nico Collins, who has the best games of his career against the Colts. So he had a great game. But that catch, Jalen Jones played incredible defense. You can't be mad at that. For everything you guys are saying, you guys are all over the comments, so I'm not reading all of them. But I see you guys talking about the defense. Defense was awful. But for as bad as the defense was, you ended up with Jalen Jones, who I thought in real time, I went crazy on the stream. I thought Jalen Jones made an incredible play, knocked that ball away. They were going to have to punt, and it's an incompletion, so the clock stopped. I thought Jalen Jones just helped us win the game. I was going nuts. And then you see that everybody on the Texans sideline immediately after that going nuts about him catching the ball. Nico Collins coming up with the ball in his hands. I was in disbelief. I was in disbelief that he caught that pass. I thought it was a great play by Fields. And Jalen Jones competes, man. I think he might be our number 1 corner. I think going forward, and it'll be interesting, does Dallas Flowers make an appearance at some point? He was a healthy scratch. Juju had a rough game. I thought last year Juju, it wasn't perfect for him, but it was his rookie season. He did some good things, but maybe it's just Nico Collins. Nico Collins is a bad matchup for Juju Brents, but I think Jalen Jones might be number one corner. We'll see if Dallas Flowers gets into a rotational situation and what that situation is going to be going forward. Maybe there's information of why he was a healthy scratch. We'll see what comes out about that. But overall defense just not good enough, right? And from the passing game, like Nico Collins was basically it in the passing game. Like outside of Nico Collins, it wasn't that bad. It was just Nico Collins made a lot of big plays for the Texans. Now, this is for everything, all the stats, everything you want to say about the defense. The most important thing, yes, thank you, Truett. I see you down here joining in. The most important thing. 3rd and long, all day long. Third and long after third and long after third and long. The defense got themselves in a lot of good situations. But because of the way Gus Bradley coaches, because of the way his system works, that off coverage BS that he likes to do, that cost us the game. Because at the first drive for I think it was the first drive for the Texans. Their first offensive drive where they end up getting a field goal. We got lucky they kicked a field goal there, in my opinion. But they end up kicking the field goal. Well, there was a 3rd and 13, I believe, 3rd and 14, where C.J. Stroud scrambles, right? We almost get the sack, but Tyquan Lewis has him wrapped up. Defensive lineman has the quarterback wrapped up, can't bring him down. C.J. Stroud takes off through the opening right there, and he ends up getting 4th and 1 or 4th and inches. They get the first down. Then they get similar situations. Same drive. First Texans drive, same drive. It was like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, something like that. Again, we got them in a good situation. And the defense gets the 4th and 1. And again, we're lucky that they kicked the field goal. If they go for it on 4th and 1 the way Joe Mixon played, they're getting that. For sure. They're getting that, and they're probably scoring a touchdown on that drive, but they kicked the field goal. There was more situations through the game. I know there was a 3rd and 14 in the 3rd quarter or 4th quarter. Maybe it's the one I'm talking about. I don't know. There were plenty of situations in this game. It happened so many times that I lost count through the stream. Like I couldn't remember how many times. But 3rd and long, you got to stop being so... I can't say the word I want to say. You can't be so soft. You got to put hands on the receivers. At some point, you got a bunch of these dudes, long arms, have the physical attributes to put hands on these dudes, lock them up. They have extension. Like Juju Brents, his arms are so long. You get him in press coverage, even if he gets beat a little bit, right? The receiver's able to get off of him quickly. He still has those long arms that he can keep the hand on the chest, have and run side by side with him. Now, Juju has other issues that he needs to work on in coverage that are coming out when he plays Nico Collins. Just letting guys run past him in those soft coverages. You got to put hands on somebody. Like, this is football. I understand what we're trying to do here. This is football, bro. You got to put hands on somebody. You're just wide receivers want to run. I said this during the stream, so if you were there and heard this, I'm sorry. Wide receivers want to run. That's what they do. They don't want you to touch them and knock them off their route. They don't want you to reroute them. They don't want you. The quarterback doesn't want you to make a receiver get off his route because that makes it the play take time to develop. Gus Bradley and what we do in the Gus Bradley scheme, like, it's conducive to letting the offense get exactly what they want. That's what it is. We let the offense dictate the game instead of being aggressive, putting hands on boys. Right? You think about some of the best defenses in the league, man. Ravens have forever, their entire history, physical defense. Doesn't matter the coordinator, doesn't matter the players. Physical defense. 49ers. Physical defense. You got to be physical. It is football. Gus Bradley, I don't want to lump him in, like I don't want to generalize, but hey, Stop being such an old man, bro. Like, change. You got to learn to change. You got to learn to adapt. Right? And some of this falls back on Shane. I know he's trying to have continuity and preach continuity, and he wants a guy here. At some point, Shane's got to talk to his defensive coordinator and be like, hey, listen, I know I'm basically the offensive coordinator, but I'm also the head coach. Technically, I'm your boss. All right, we work together, but I'm your boss. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. He's the head coach. He needs to set the tone. This is on Gus Bradley. This is also on Shane. He is not innocent in this. Okay? It is a team. Everybody works together. It's supposed to be cohesive. Everybody has a job to do. Shane needs to do his. He can make Gus change. He can set the personnel for the defense. Shane has to do his job too. Right? And from Shane's point of view, you switch vibes here to the offense. And I think play calling wise, I think the play calling was great today, honestly. Again, if we just execute, we win the game. There were open guys. Anthony missed a couple. People were slipping. Kylan Granson trips over his own toe like he's not one of the best athletes on the planet. You're an NFL athlete. You just can't trip over your own feet. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's ridiculous. Maybe that would have been an interception and an overthrow anyways. I don't know. I'd have to see a different angle of it. But just overall, like, I've seen a couple people, and I see Mark Speaks here. Yeah, we will be okay. That's what I come out of. That's the rant. That's the rant, right? The defense, not good enough. Offensively, you have to execute. That's the rant. Here's why we're going to be okay. It's because I do believe in the coaching. Right? Defense might be tough, but we scored 20 plus in pretty much every game last year with Gardner Minshew most of the season. We have Anthony Richardson. Looked extremely dynamic. There were also positives, right? You look at the offense, right? You think if Anthony Richardson hits those throws, right? The A.D. Mitchell on the right side of the field, wide open. You're never going to get wide open. Like A.D. coming out of this game, he was so wide open on two different balls that in his mind, he's like, oh, this NFL thing's easy. I get open all the time. It's not always going to be that easy, but there was one on the right side of the field, the overthrow that would have been a touchdown. Then the left side of the field, it was a deeper throw, but AD gets behind both guys and is running away from them and still can't get to the ball because it was too far ahead of him. The overthrows hurt us today. But you think, again, if Anthony hits these balls, if he hits both of those, we have 14 more points. We win this game 41-29, right? Like, it's just about executing, which is why I think we'll be okay. Again, this is basically Anthony Richardson's rookie season. So, and by the way, offensive line doesn't get talked about a lot. Offensive line played incredible today. Now, the running lanes weren't there, so from that perspective, not great. And I can't wait to go through and look and see why was it our guys not being good enough in the run game? Were the Texans just doing a really good job playing the run game? D'Amico Ryans is very good. His teams generally play really well against the run. So from that perspective, I think it was just the Texans playing really well to stop Jonathan Taylor, and they wanted Anthony Richardson to beat him with his arm. That's the vibe. And again, if he hits those throws, he does beat him with his arm, which is the positives you take away. Again, it's Anthony Richardson's rookie year, basically. He had very limited time. It was like 2.5 quarters worth of time last year, 2.5 games, 3 games worth of action last year. So it's going to take time. There's going to be some things that are frustrating with Anthony Richardson. He's going to miss some of those throws. But just like last season, right? Last season, by the time he got hurt, like those throws that he was missing, he started to rein it in. He can figure it out. He just needs the reps again, right? He took so much time off. He needs those live reps again to get. Today was a good experience. He missed a couple of those throws. So you know that's something he's going to be working on, is being able to put, excuse me, he's going to be able to work on, hey, I know I need to put touch on some of these. I know I got to get the accuracy right. I got to stop getting, he doesn't get happy feet. But it's like when it's so wide open, he guns it, right? We know he throws so hard. He has the arm strength. He just needs to rein it in. He needs to hone it. Guess what? Josh Allen did too. I was a big fan of Josh Allen coming in. Thought he was going to be really good when everybody was talking trash and saying, oh, there's no way he should be a top 10 pick. Why would they ever do this? And I thought Josh Allen had all the capabilities of being great in the NFL. You just got to work with him. You got to work on some stuff. And he did. His first year was tough and it wasn't perfect. Second year got better, right? The second year he gets Stephon Diggs, and everybody has always attributed his success to Stephon Diggs. And that's partially true, but Josh Allen does the work. He put in the work to get better. So what I want to come out of this, even though it's frustrating, we lose to Houston. I mean, heartbreaking. The way we lost to Houston last year and then losing to them the way we did today, like it's soul crushing to start the year. The week one curse continues, but for as heartbreaking as it is, there is the positive. Now we need to figure out the run game. We got to get Jonathan Taylor going. Not everybody's going to be D'Amico Ryans. Right, that was part of the chess match we talked about earlier in the week with the game plan. It was going to be a chess match. D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichen, two very good coaches. So we knew it was going to be a duel. Texans get the better of us in this one again, and just unfortunate, right? I thought our guys, they fought so hard. Man, but really the story of this game is those third and longs, in my opinion. Those third and longs really did it. If you don't create turnovers, you're not going to win the game. If you don't win in the trenches, you're not going to win the game. And we got abused, man. I know some of the in-depth stats, right? It was like 40 minutes of time to 20, right? Time of possession. You can't win like that. Right, our big plays, they doubled us up in time of possession. We were in the game because of big plays. So the big play capability is there for this offense. It's sustaining drives that this offense has to be good at, and that a lot of that comes down to your quarterback, right? Like that's what separates the good teams from the great. Great quarterbacks will be able to sustain drives. So that's where Anthony needs to work and get better. He's got to be able to help us sustain drives. Jonathan Taylor has got to help us be able to sustain drives. We have to be able to get Jonathan Taylor into a rhythm. We were never really, I think he had 16 carries. Was that the number? Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's having 16 carries. You can't do it. You can't only have 16 carries for one of the best in the league. So it was just a tough game. Again, when you look at receivers for the Texans, outside of Nico Collins, nobody really went off. Tank Dell only had 40 yards. Stephon Diggs had 6 catches, but only 33 yards. You know, he did have 2 touchdowns, though. So, in a way, a big game for him. Killing us down low. Looks like he's going to be a slot threat for them, especially inside the red zone. Joe Mixon adds 3 catches on the day. I mean, they didn't really have anybody going crazy from the receiver room, right? And then now, something I talked about on stream. Nick Cross was all over the place, but you saw Nick Cross so much because Joe Mixon was getting past the defensive line and the linebackers. Nick Cross comes out of this game 14 tackles. Julian Blackmon comes out of this game 13 tackles. You cannot have both of your safeties leading the team in tackle. It makes sense. Julian Blackmon, he plays closer to the line of scrimmage. He should have some more tackles. Nick Cross is supposed to be the deep safety, and he had 14 tackles. You can't do it. See, and the part that frustrates me when I think about letting up so many rush yards, I think back to the Peyton Manning days, how we had so much success offensively and scored so many points, but we couldn't stop anybody because in the run game, just like today, you're not getting hit with 20, 30, 40-yard runs to get the run total up. You're getting hit with 5 yards at a time, 6 yards at a time, 7 yards at a time, 8 yards at a time. And it just stacks up. 30 carries, 156. And it's just not good. It's frustrating to watch. Right? Gus Bradley's scheme is bend, don't break, and it's frustrating to watch. So hopefully our guys, like if you look at last year, the defense, over time, I think that like the defense started adjusting on the field and calling the audibles to what they wanted to do. And I think over time, especially toward the end of the year, defense wasn't perfect, but it got better. We had a lot of injuries, so it wasn't great, but it got better. It's certain improvements. I think through this year, we have so many veterans, guys that are looking. They're like, they don't have forever in the league. These guys want to win. They're going to make adjustments. I assume whether it's Shane Steichen or the leaders on the defense, the players on the defense, something's got to give to where we get in a position where these guys can make the plays they know they can make. Now, again, will it happen with Gus Bradley? That's the question. Will he ever be more aggressive? That's the question. Seems like he can't change. And I don't want to – I keep coming back to that, right? I don't want to be like – I feel like I'm negative Nancy, right? You don't want to keep coming back to that. But the defense was tough to watch today. Tough to watch for sure. Want to come back up here. Look at what you guys are talking about. You guys being in the chat, I love that. See you guys being active, talking to each other. Been trying to pay attention to the comments as I've been going here. Appreciate you all stopping by. I see there's a good amount of people. This actually might be the biggest stream we've ever had in terms of people here at one time. I appreciate you all stopping by here after the game. If you weren't here at the beginning, yeah, soul crusher, but some good to take away from it. AR showed the ability that he has. Alec Pierce looks like he's finally developed into what we need him to. AD should have had a big day. He should have had a big day. So looks like we're gonna find our moments for AD, but AD, he was open, very open in the NFL. So hopefully we can continue that going forward. I think, and just to talk about that, one thing I noticed, and obviously I haven't been able to watch, it was just replays that they showed of AD and throws going to him. AD, and in the preseason training camp, like a lot, AD, they have him running comeback routes. He's really good at separating for comeback routes. So I think part of the game plan, like the 2 times he got open, I'm pretty sure the 2 times he got open were because he had done the inside stutter like he was going to do a comeback. Did the inside stutter, but popped up real quick and was able to get a step on the defense. And with his 4.3 speed, he's able to get past him. Now, I'll watch the tape, but that's what I'm seeing. His role and what they want him to do. Alec Pierce is a deep shot guy, right? AD comes in, he's doing comeback routes and things of that sort, and doing quick outs, quick ins, things like that. So that sets AD up so that when he comes in, boom, he hits the quick move, gets to the outside. The fact that he's coming in as a rookie and has that quick move, that quick stutter, and was able to get that wide open. Once on the right side of the field, once on the left side of the field. Really good to see from AD. And then you turn over to Latu, the other rookie. There were a couple times he got pressure, just not getting home. Now, he had to go against Laramie Tunsil, who is one of the better left tackles in the NFL. So, up and down, I'm, again, curious to go back and really just watch him. There were different parts of the game where I thought he was quiet. There were different parts of the game where I thought he was doing a good job of getting consistent pressure. And from that point of view, I thought we did a good job getting consistent pressure for the most part today. I know early on in the game we were definitely getting more pressure than later in the game, which could be part of the rotation thing. But in the second half, once we got down by 9 points and it was getting tough, we knew we needed to stop to win the game. We knew we had to get after the quarterback, make things difficult. Once we got to that point, I thought Latu should have been on the field the whole time. I might be wrong there. Again, I'll go back and look at the tape, but I thought Latu should have been on the field the whole time. I thought Dio should have been on the field the whole time instead of Quiddy. And then I think, obviously, DeForest Buckner right there next to Latu. And then, Grover Stewart in case they wanted to run it, of course. So that's what I thought we should have done. But, again, I'll go back, really look at what Latu is doing. I think, just as you would expect from any rookie in their first game ever, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad is probably what I'm going to pick up in tape. Early they'll be more aggressive. Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter is washed. Glad we didn't sign him. Man, that's it. So I think I don't want to diminish. I do think Will Anderson might not have been worth a number 3 overall pick, to be completely honest. But I do think he's good edge rusher. I also think Danielle Hunter's been very good in his career. I just think Bernard Raymond looked like the left tackle of the future today. You better believe it. We got the left tackle of the future. I think. I'm not going to diminish what the ends for the Texans did because they played well in the run game. I just think our offensive line as a whole played really well as a pass protection. Pass protection was incredible today. Can't really ask for more. I know even on the 2 sacks AR took, he had plenty of time. There just wasn't enough there, anywhere for him to go with the ball. So he had to hold on to the ball too long, ends up getting sacked. So I thought the offensive line played really well today, at least in the pass game. Again, going to have to go back and look. I'm sure that's what that comment was from. But from a pass protection, I think we have the left tackle of the future, Braden Smith. Nice to have him back. He's healthy. He looked like Braden Smith today. It wasn't perfect for him. There were a couple times where his guy got the early quick pressure, but he was able to anchor down and stop him from getting too far or too close to Anthony Richardson there. So overall, thought it was a really good job by the offensive line today. Ring be great. Yeah, hopefully play well against Green Bay next week. That offense scares me. Jaden Reed, I'm a big fan of Jaden Reed. Picked him up in fantasy last year because he was balling. And then picked him up in fantasy this year. He balled again. He was on my bench because I wasn't sure if it was a fluke or not. It's not. The Packers' offense is for real. But I do think we can take advantage of the Packers' defense. So should be another good game next week. See as we go. Yeah, hopefully Josh Downs back next week. That would be incredible. Oh, yeah. I forgot Jordan Love is out. We played Malik Will. Okay, so, yeah. Yeah, so who is still above ground. If Indy loses to Malik Willis, the season's over. Yeah, completely agree. We lose to the Packers next week. We're not making the playoffs. You can pretty much bet on that. I completely forgot. I'm excited about next week now. Let's go. Eventually, our offense will become our defense prolific. Yeah, Bobby, I hope you're right, man. As you're saying, AR's prolific. The offense is going to become our best defense, right? And becoming prolific. Yeah, I hope you're exactly right. Magnificent Merker, if you're still in here, I assume you're a Texans fan. GG Indy. GG Texans, man. Hard-fought game. Not going to lie, with all the trash that's been talked, with the way Week 18 went, sure you can understand that any Texans fans in here, I can't say what I want to say, just know F you. We'll be back. We're going to Houston. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but we can keep up with the best of them. Just like y'all can keep up with the best of them, we can keep up with the best of them. We'll figure it out. By the time we play again, AR is going to have a lot of experience. He'll be back. Okay, that's the advantage that CJ had in this one. He had the experience. Week 8 can't come fast enough. I assume that's when we play again. I was actually hoping it would be later in the season. I thought it would be later in the season. Maybe not. Crucial interception the refs called back. Yeah, that interception with Juju, man. You know, I don't like the rule where, see, and for Juju, his right foot was down, and then his left toe hit, and then his foot rolled onto the line, right, as the rest of his foot came down on the line, which, like, sure, I get it. But, like, his toe hit first. 2 points, boom, toe hits, interception. Who cares about the heel barely touching? And then, apparently, a knee counts as 2 feet. Right, that Nico Collins catch wouldn't have counted if he had to have 2 points of contact. Just like you have to have 2 feet. Why don't you have two points of contact? It's college football all of a sudden. Right? That's one of those rules. It's like, oh, let's help the offense out. Somebody find the fountain of youth. Give Ray Buchanan a drink. To me, average owners, coaches, and players. Let's see what we got going on here. How do we get more Latu and less Brian? That's a great question. Why is Taven Bryan playing so much? That's a great question. We should beat the brakes off Green Bay. Yeah, 100%. Accuracy matters big time. The last Collins catch was pinpoint for Stroud. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the last pass for Stroud was ridiculous. Stroud didn't even have to air it out. That's fair. That's fair. Joe Mixon did everything, or did a lot. So, yeah, Stroud doesn't even have to air it out. Yeah, we need that Bob Sanders stuff back. Yeah, you're exact. I thought that. There was one tackle, one tackle Nick Cross had where, like, he stopped moving his feet and just let Joe Mixon run him over. Like, he got the tackle, but he got ran over, and Joe Mixon got a couple extra yards. And in my mind, I thought, if we had Bob Sanders is running through that dude, not letting him pick up an extra 3 yards for nothing. Bob Sanders is annihilating Joe Mixon. Right? Just keep running your feet and annihilating him. But Nick Cross didn't do that. Although I did see Julian Blackmon had a couple good hits coming up from the safety position. Yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement here. We're hoping Gus could figure it out. Maybe he would adjust. Doesn't seem like he's adjusting. Even if he plays different coverages, right? He likes his cover 3. He mixes in the occasional quarters. Cover 1 is something he'll do. But furthermore, he just doesn't adjust. He doesn't disguise. It's a predictable defense. They play off too much. Yeah, that's what we come out of here, is that he's never going to change. And it's unfortunate, man. I think we have guys on defense. I really think we have some guys on defense. I just don't think the coaching on that side of the ball is good enough. And a lot of people think it's a cop-out to blame coaching, but I think coaching is a big part of it, When it comes down to at the end of the day, it's a defensive philosophy that does not work. Couple Ballard not making the team better in free agency. Ballard's not going to change. He and his scheme are one. Yeah, see, I'm wondering, from Ballard's point of view, just like I just said, I think we have guys on defense. So I think from Ballard's point of view, he thinks, I'm drafting well. We got guys with all the attributes you could ever want. Why don't you put our guys in a better position to succeed? I think that's what it comes down to. think at the obvious in season, you don't, who do we have on our staff that we would make defensive coordinator anyways? Gus Bradley, probably going to finish the year, but I would be shocked, assuming the defense continues to not be very good, right? It was not great last year. We were bottom 6, bottom 5, bottom 6 last year. If it's like that again this year, we're one of the worst defenses in the league. You got to assume Gus Bradley's going to be gone. Now, at what point do you blame the offense for some of the defense, right? Offense has to be able to stay on the field, time of possession. Some of that weighs into it. Offense could do a better job staying on the field, but nonetheless, defense has to execute, which is where we close this down. Execution, my friends. We mentioned it earlier. For those of you that weren't here for that, that's where we'll end it. Is you have to execute. If the Colts execute all the third and longs for the defense, if we execute better, we win the game. The throws that Anthony Richardson missed, whether it was his error or the receiver's error, communication error, whether it was Kylan Granson tripping on his own feet, 9 for 19 isn't good enough. Missing guys for wide open touchdowns isn't good enough. You have to execute. We have to execute better. Okay, just like Shaman down here, Shaman, I'm sorry if I pronounced that one way or the other, was probably wrong. But just like he's saying, D-line got pressure. There are some things to build off of. AR showed some good things. JT, we need to get him rolling. Offensive line was really good, but it wasn't good enough. Defensive line was good. It was better, but it wasn't good enough. It was good at getting pressure. You just can't stop the run, and that's what cost us at the end of the day. Unable to execute in the run game on both sides of the ball cost us this game. And that, which is kind of the opposite of what we've been for years. Oddly enough. Been able to run the ball, been able to stop the run. We couldn't do either of those things today against the Texans, which is why I have faith. We'll get back to it. That's generally our identity. We'll get back to being great at the things we're usually great at. And then we need to build on the things that we did well, fix the things that we can fix, right? Control what you can control. And fix the things that you can fix. Work on what you can work on. And I think we have the guys. I think we have the coaches, offensively, to be able to spearhead this thing. If we got to have marathons every week, we'll have marathons every week. We're going to have a very exciting season, putting a lot of points on the board. Okay, that's what I think. We're going to give up probably 27 points a game. And yeah, hopefully time of possession gets better. 20 minutes of possession time is absolutely ridiculous. If you look at the numbers, we got dominated. We only lost by 2 points because of explosive plays that we were able to get. Alec Pierce, again, without Alec Pierce, we're not even close. Without Alec Pierce, we're not even close. Ashton Doolin coming back from the ACL, making an incredible play as well. That was also an incredible throw by Anthony Richardson. So again, just got to execute more consistently. That's our word of the year. Okay, here on the Colts Syndicate, that's what we will be preaching this season. Just like I need to preach in my real life and building good habits, consistency. I gained some weight, man. I put on a bunch of weight. I was 275. I lost 70 pounds. Last season, I was undisciplined. I was not consistent working out. I put on some more weight. I need to be consistent. I need to get outside and get a workout in. I have the equipment here. I need to be consistent. It's like the Colts need to be consistent. Building good habits. That's what we're looking for. Working on what we need to work on. There's a lot to work on. There's going to be plenty of content coming from this, man. Plenty of content, plenty of things to talk about through the week. Going to look at different players, different situations. We're going to examine things. We're going to have plenty of content. There have been a bunch of you been hanging out with us through this stream. Unfortunately, my stream during the game, I went to look on YouTube on one of my personal account. I went to look. YouTube was hiding my stream during the game. I don't know why. They were hiding my stream. So didn't have a lot of people visit me there. I appreciate you all stopping by to visit me here. If you're not subscribed, man, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed. Have notifications on. Because even though they were hiding my stream today, people did get notifications. I got confirmation that people did get notifications. So we have a bunch of content this week. We're going to be live again next week. Make sure you're subscribed, notifications on, all that. KT, what's going on, baby? See you rolling in here right at the end. So make sure you scroll back to the beginning. Check this out. Let me know any opinion you have down in the comment section, whatever that case is, in the chat, in the comment section, whatever the case may be. I appreciate you guys stopping by. It's a tough opening to the season. Another 0-1 start to the season. But we know what we are. We came into this question hoping to be great. We saw some greatness. We saw some things to work on. Let's work on being great. The Colts, us personally, let's all work on being great and being consistent. We need more consistency from offense, from defense, from special teams, and greatness will follow, okay? I appreciate you guys so much for coming to hang out. As always, ready to go rest this voice up, watch some more football. You guys do the same. Enjoy the rest of your NFL Sunday, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, okay? Love you guys so much. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.